Well, a very good evening and a warm welcome to you wherever you may be. Thank you for joining us on DinamoTV. It is episode 52 and our 14th episode for 2025. An absolute pleasure to be here with you tonight. My name is Tonchi Prusats, and geez, folks, on tonight's show, we've got a huge show. Lots of stuff happening at Dinamo, lots, and that'll all be covered in the upcoming news desk, all the social news, all the activities, and like I said, there's so much going on at the moment. This weekend coming up, we've got the community leagues kicking off, the Mini Roos. We've also got a very new program as well that's going to be launched next month, middle of next month. And to tell us all about that a little bit later on tonight's show will be the juniors president, KRISTIAN Dolic. We'll also be joined by the men's NPL under-23s head coach, Ep14, who was on the show earlier this year. And this will provide us an opportunity to have a little bit of a mid-season report card, an assessment of how the 23s are going, and that also will be a little bit later on in the show. So there's lots happening, folks, and we look forward to having your company throughout the next 60 minutes or so. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. It's time for the news desk. Don't go away. It's DinamoTV you are watching.
The I&D Group is regarded as one of the largest deliverers of concrete structure solutions in Victoria. Formed in 1994 by Ivan and Kathy Filipovic, their passion and commitment to getting the job done safely and economically has underpinned their success in the industry. I&D partners with large-scale building and construction companies in both the private and public sectors on projects large and small. With our corporate headquarters based in South Melbourne and storage yard based in the southeast suburbs, we have at our disposal thousands of square metres of quality materials, along with state-of-the-art lifting and crane equipment, enabling us to deliver the largest projects. We are committed to delivering high-quality projects by partnering with our clients and collaborating with project suppliers to ensure each job is delivered to exceed expectations. From humble beginnings, I&D now employs more than 1,200 dedicated professional and support staff, involved in a number of landmark projects right across Victoria. The I&D Group is a massive supporter of the Croatian community, backed soccer clubs in Victoria, and is proud to be the major sponsor of the St Albans Dinamo Football Club in 2024.
Welcome back to DinamoTV. It's time now for the news desk. Well, last week, Dinamo unfortunately bombed out of the Australia Cup after losing 1-2 to Heidelberg United in round 4 of the Knockout Cup series, which also doubles up as the statewide Doherty Cup. So we now move on to the league, and it's round 11 this Friday night in what is going to be a massive game for our Dinamovci. We travel to BT Connor Reserve, and no doubt a big crowd awaits us as we take on Preston at their ground. Kickoff on Anzac Day is at 8:30 p.m, and the notification from Preston Lions is that the club pavilion will not be available to the public until 8 p.m. So I'm not sure if that's an Anzac Day thing or if there's a function happening there on a match day. But do get in early if you are planning on going to this game, because there's going to be a big crowd, no doubt. And that game kicks off at 8:30 p.m. this Friday night. As you can see on the right-hand side, we currently find ourselves in 9th position on the equal amount of points as our sister club, Dandenong City. And our other sister club, Melbourne Knights, are currently in 12th position. Not sure what's happening with the Croatian community clubs in the NPL Victoria competition this year, but, we haven't even reached the halfway mark of the season yet, so there's still plenty of football left in 2025. Don't you worry about that. Two teams who are doing reasonably well, in fact, are our under-23s and our under-19s. They won't be in action this Friday night, but they will be in action on Sunday at BT Connor Reserve. Entries free, of course, or Jenna Steele Stadium, I should say, as it is there on the screen. So the 23s are at 3 p.m, the main game, and then the under-19s are the curtain raiser at 1 p.m. And we'll find out a little bit more about how the under-23s are travelling this year. They're doing, as I said, they're doing very well. They currently find themselves in a mid-table 7th position, while the under-19s are in 5th position. So they're doing really well under Ian Burke. And we'll find out from under-23s coach Adam Tennenini. Tuna will be joining us very, very shortly on DinamoTV to talk about the under-23s season so far. As we said, they're doing very well. Now, this weekend, we've got the Mini-Roos and the Junior Community Leagues kicking off. And to find out more about that, we'll also be joined by the Juniors President, KRISTIAN Dolic, a little bit later on in the show. But in the meantime, there is a new program that is being launched at Dinamo to promote female football, known as the Mini Tillies. It will run concurrently with the Mali Plavi, and this will be launched mid-May, so starting on the 15th of May, running through to the end of August. Tickets are only $300 per participant, and it is aimed at it's basically a start to football program for girls between the ages of 3 to 6. For more information, email the club at stalbansaintsjuniors@gmail.com or hang around, because we'll have a lot more information to you when we are joined by KRISTIAN Dolic a little bit later on in the show. Now it's time for the social functions coming up, and boy, have we got lots of social functions happening over the next 3 or 4 months. Starting with this Sunday, lamb served by the kilo, straight off the spit. From 1 p.m. this Sunday, if bookings are essential, so please contact Anna on 0401 505 100. And the reason why bookings are essential is because spots are limited. So make sure to reserve your spot. Lamb by the kilo, straight off the spit. Mother's Day buffet night is happening in 2 weeks' time on Thursday, the 8th of May from 7 p.m. here at the club. Also, message Anna to book. Bookings are essential once again. There will be live music provided by Croatian group Grupa Akord. And adults will pay $35, kids under the age of 16, $20, and kids under the age of 10, $15. And if there is one fantastic present you can get your mother or your wife, is to make sure that she has the night off from cooking and cleaning the dishes. And I think every mum will agree that is the best Mother's Day present that they can possibly get. Also, as far as social events, further down the track in July, well, I guess it's not a social event, it's a sporting event. Melbourne will host the inaugural Dinamo Zagreb Football Academy from the 7th to the 11th of July, right here at our St Albans Dinamo Football Club. Run over 5 days. It's aimed at kids from the ages of 8 to 18. 5 fully professional coaches from Zagreb will be coming down under, and they will be running these programs. Costs are only $500 per child. Places are limited, so do get in quick, and there's all the information there on your screen. At the end of that week will be the culmination of our 50th anniversary celebrations with the big 50-year anniversary gala night on Saturday, the 12th of July at the Croatian Catholic Centre in Sunshine. Entertainment provided by Major Minor, and a special guest will be Ivan Novosel from none other than the Zaprešić Boys. It's $120 per person, formal attire, and it does include 3-course meal. For ticket bookings, please contact Lucy on 0435 680 273 or Natalie on 0402 380 862. I believe there are only 10 tickets left for that as well. Last but not least, and certainly that's something that is coming up this weekend, something surely is Dinamo's Golf Day. The inaugural Dinamo Golf Day will be held this Sunday at the Mount Dermot Golf Club with a 7 a.m. tee-off. So lots of things happening on this weekend. Teams of 4, Ambrose, $150 per player, which includes green fees, polo, last man standing ticket, and then lunch at Dinamo. It is limited to 80 spots. And if it hasn't already been filled, do message Mark Vidakovic, Sharky, to book your ticket. The number is 0407 107 518. As we said, lots happening at the moment down at Churchill Reserve. The club really is thriving, so there's something for everyone without a doubt. Okay, folks, we're going to take a short break, and when we return, it will be time for our very, very first guest. Don't go away. You're tuning into DinamoTV, the official podcast of the St Albans Dinamo Football Club. And welcome back to DinamoTV. Well, they say it really takes a whole community to get and raise a child, isn't it what they say? And I guess if the child is St Albans Dinamo Football Club, now in its 50th year, there are so many people behind the scenes that really function and work hard. And, geez, you really have to get an insight into the runnings of a club to know just how much work is put behind the scene. Our next guest is certainly one of those. He's heavily involved in all sorts of elements of the club, all aspects of the club. But he's also, as the juniors president, he's got so much responsibility on his broad shoulders. It's an absolute pleasure to welcome to DinamoTV KRISTIAN Dolic. KRISTIAN, how are you?
Excellent, Tonchi. Thanks for inviting me back again.
Always a pleasure, mate. Always a pleasure. There's so much going on at the club, which is always great. You know, we always look forward to having a lot of activity happening at the club. But tell us, let's look at the back. What's already happened, and have a look at the I&D Gala Day, which was held very, very recently, and let's talk a bit about that.
Yeah. I&D Gala Day, another successful year. So every year we go through a lot of planning with the other teams, the clubs, I should say, and we try to ensure that we have everyone's correspondence nice and early so we can start planning fixtures and team coordination, rostering, and making sure that it's an eventful day. There's no hiccups. So this year, again, another successful year. We had a few hiccups coming through during the day. But which we quickly managed with the help of a lot of other coaches and parents. We quickly managed to get through it. But overall, excellent day.
Yeah,
excellent day.
Well, we've got some of the footage now happening as we speak, and you can really see that. I mean, something like this. We talked to Ilya Dragicevic last week, the president. There's so much that goes on, so much behind the scenes. Obviously, the volunteers, but the staggering, I think, total that Kristina Barisic told us, something like 400 plus cevape rolls, 500 buckets of chips. How much planning goes into something like this? And obviously the juniors committee and the junior parents and volunteers would have had a huge say in this, wouldn't they?
Yeah, absolutely. We have our weekly meetings and we're discussing the big topics that are coming up within the club. And Gala Day was one that was on our topic from probably January, and the flyers go out early February, and then we start planning for March, right? So it's hard enough to try to get teams to come out. We understand the North Geelongs and the Dandenongs are coming from a fair distance, so we try to give them more than equal time to come and play. And we give them extra games as well just to assist them in their travels. So we had 67 teams this year across our sister clubs that have come and joined in our gala day this year, which was great.
Yeah.
Out of that, we had 16 of them being girls' teams out of the 51 boys' teams. So the girls' football is exploding, not just here at Dinamo, but it looks Dandenong City, I believe, brought 6 or 7 teams themselves. So it was really good to see the females and the girls that are coming through the clubs.
Yeah. Now, speaking of female football, and as we said, it is something that has been exploding at pretty much all of the Croatian community-backed clubs, and a lot of it's, I guess, is driven by people myself, former players or administrators who have got now daughters of their own and have got involved through that. At Dinamo, more precisely, in addition to the Mali Plavi, and we'll talk about that very, very shortly, we've got a new program that's coming up that's being launched in conjunction with the Mali Plavi, the Mini Tillies. Tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, so the Mini Tillies, this is the first, our club will be launching a female program, I suppose, to promote football. It's something that FFV look highly within the clubs and our game changer status. So we're actually looking forward to this. We've got a couple of our senior women involved as well, so they'll be helping us out in, I suppose, on coaching these young girls on the Thursday sessions, which will be really great. Alongside, I guess, myself as well and Stepan Gal when he can. I know he's a busy man, but we'll be around it as well. So having access to this with junior female football within the club is extraordinary. So we've already got in our Dinamo alone, we've got 7 female teams, mini Roo teams, and this will impact it to actually explode over the next couple of years. So something not just a bit Dinamo are looking at, but over across all clubs, they are looking to thrive on female football, and it is a big thing coming in. So we're on board. We want to make this work for our girls and give them the best opportunity at the club, and what we do as a community.
Yeah, all the information is there and how you can register your interest, or if you like some more information, email the club stalbansaintsjuniors@gmail.com. There's also the jot form there at the bottom of the screen. If it's scrolling too quickly and you can't get all those numbers, just hit the pause button, write that down, and then contact us, and we'll be able to give you some more information about that. Now, Christian, it's just not you haven't been the only one involved with the Mini Tillies. There's a group of you involved as well. Who are some of the other people, administrators, who are involved with the Mini Tillies, or at least getting it up and running?
Well, JB was probably our vice president. He's been alongside with Lucy, and they've been working really hard to get this over the line. Danny Utrisha as well. He's been around in the game changer scenario. We've got a few others. Natalie Mitrevsky, she'll come and give us a hand, probably as a coach. And like I said, there's a couple senior women girls that have put their hand up to help out. So it's even better seeing the senior women come out to help out these little girls, with some of our senior women started from our Mali Plavi academy that came all the way through. So some of these girls have been there for years. So big hand across the board. The committee himself as well, they've been across it and they're on board. Ilya's been absolutely on board with this as well. So it's been great.
And the good thing is, as you mentioned, some of the senior footballers getting involved, and we've had some of the senior footballers over the years getting involved back and putting back in by coaching. And I guess that's the next frontier. We've got lots of players. We've got many female administrators. I guess we just don't have enough female coaches, and that's not just Dinamo. We're talking across the sport overall. But I guess that's the next thing. And as a lot of the players start finishing up their playing career, or if they're even at the moment hitting the senior teams and stuff like that, this is now a wonderful opportunity to be able to start their own coaching career, isn't it?
Yeah, correct. So we're lucky enough to have Jana Chulina. She's one of our under 8 girls coaches. So she's a senior player, and she spends her time 2 days a week, 3 days a week with the games that's about to commence. But yeah, she herself and Maya, they help out, which is really great. It's great to see.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely brilliant. So that all kicks off this week, isn't it? Very shortly.
Yeah, correct.
When are you planning to actually launch Mini Tillies?
So Mini Tillies will kick off alongside our Marley Plavy program, which is looking at I believe the 13th or 15th of May.
Okay.
15th of May. So it's a Thursday, 15th of May.
Yep.
And we will have that side by side. The Mini Tillies program is probably a bit more extra. The girls will get a kit and a water bottle from a Mini Ruse, Mini Tilly side, and then they'll also have a Marley Plavy side as well. So that's looking off the kickoff then, and it'll go for a circa about 15 weeks up until end of August at this stage.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, here we go, 15th of May to 20th of August. There's all that information there. From 5 p.m. till 6 p.m. Girls from 3 to 6, and the cost is only $300. And as you said, Christian, you get so much as part of that as well. The community season kicks off this weekend. The Mini Roos kicking off this weekend. How are numbers across the board with our Mini Roos?
Looking solid. Looking really, really, really strong. All our Mini Roos kick off come on Sunday. I believe on Sunday alone at Dinamo, we've got 16 teams playing at home. Wow. So out of our 21, 22 teams that we have, we've got 70-odd percent, 75% playing at home. So looking really good with the high numbers. Our football is looking sharp. We've got Jason Trafiro and the Football Tech Academy there that we're still running on Mondays. But the kids that currently do our sessions, and we do from the 10s to 13s, we do 3 sessions a week, really are starting to develop and understand the joys of football. So we're really looking at improving that. Season kicks off. We wish all the teams all the best coming up into this Sunday. Still going to start getting to get really busy at Dinamo now. So we've all got our hats on and we're ready to go.
Oh, it's exciting stuff. And whenever the season is just about to start on the eve of the new season, it's always a very, very exciting time for everyone involved, from players, coaches, officials, and of course the parents. Or maybe this is when the parents' eyes start to roll around and they start to realise, there goes our Sunday mornings. But no, I think from personal experience, you wouldn't want to have it any other way. I guess last but not least, let's touch on something that obviously directly affects all the Dinamo juniors in a positive way, is the Dinamo Zagreb football camp later this year in July. Its spots are filling fast. There's not much left. How is it all going with regards to the Dinamo Zagreb camp in July?
Planning's going really well. Stepan Gal and John Bilos have actually taken ownership of this, but they've gone really well in engaging with their Dinamo Zagreb relatives over there, let's call it. They're looking to come down. We've got about 30-odd spots left to fill in, so numbers are filling up. I think it's going to be a great experience for the kids. My son is 9 years old. I asked him, do you want to join? And he was more than happy to sit there and actually say, yeah, I want to be a part of that Dinamo Academy and Dinamo that come to Melbourne, because not every year, or not every, I suppose, any kid's lifetime, they get to meet some superstars and some coaches and get the best of the best. So we're looking forward to it as a club. I know I'll be there for the 5 days, but the kids they'll be really, really good for them.
Yeah, on a side note, I was speaking to former Dinamo captain, who's currently the Melbourne Knights technical director, Josip Lončarić, who's very well known around the club here, and a youth coach. He's currently in Croatia at the moment with the Australian-Croatian select team, and he spent some time at Dinamo with Ivan Kelava, who's one of the coaches coming down, the ex-Melbourne Victory coach, and he said it's mind-boggling. Like, when you see the level of professionalism that they employ over there. I mean, they're all full-time coaches. They've all done university degrees, not just C license courses and what you're not. And what we're going to obviously experience, or what the kids are going to experience, is just astounding. So, as you mentioned, there's only 30-odd spots left. So, hurrying quick. We'll pop that slide up again. And I believe the deadline is May the 3rd, Christian, because by then all the orders for the kits and the special kits, training kits, have to be made. So do rush in, folks. And it's only $500, which is $100 per day per child. And all the information is there. And as you said, Christian, it is going to be a phenomenal experience for these kids.
Absolutely. Really looking forward to it.
Yeah, mate. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your busy schedule. You've got lots and lots of more jobs and tasks awaiting you ahead of the weekend's kickoff of the Mini Roos season. So I wish you all the best for the season ahead. But thank you to yourself and all the folks at the Juniors Committee who are doing such a brilliant job.
Thank you, Tonchi. Appreciate it.
Good on you. Okay, that was KRISTIAN Dolich, the Juniors President here at St Albans Dinamo on DinamoTV. Folks, we're going to take a very short break, and when we return, we will continue with tonight's episode of DinamoTV. Folks, don't go away.
Westar Prestige is a proud family-owned second-generation business servicing Victorian motorists for more than 50 years. We are a specialist prestige collision repair facility situated in the western suburbs of Melbourne. However, we service all regions of Victoria, with many of our clients travelling not only from around Melbourne, but all of Victoria to use our services. We are also able to provide a digital platform for quoting clients' vehicles who are unable to personally attend our premises. We are an authorised manufacturer approved repair facility for Mercedes-Benz, Tesla, Peugeot and Suzuki, and are proud of our ongoing affiliation with these brands. We also work closely with several of Australia's largest insurance brands who entrust us to be a part of their preferred repairer network. Our client support staff are always happy to assist clients from the initial process of lodging claims through to the final stages of collection of the vehicle on completion of repairs and post-repair. So remember, for all your prestige collision repair needs, consider Westar Prestige, an award-winning, long-standing Australian-owned business.
And welcome back to DinamoTV, our post-Easter edition. There's so much going on at the club. And last week, obviously, with Easter, our under-23s and the under-19s had a bit of a break. But to give us a bit of a mid-season report on how the under-23s are going, we're joined by the head coach of the Dinamo men's under-23s NPL team. An absolute pleasure to welcome Adam TENNENINI Tuna to DinamoTV. How are you, my friend?
Good, Tonchi. Good to be back. It's been a little while since I've been on, but
It has.
probably about 3 months, I think. Was the thing we did a preview before the season started. But keen watcher every week. It's always interesting to watch the show every week with some great content. But good to be back.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Great to have you back. And you're right, it has been 3 months. And in that time, geez, a lot has happened. And obviously, if we have a look at the team, along with the under-19s there, oh, look, 7th position on the competition standings after 10 rounds, just outside the top 6. Mate, at the start of the year, would you have been happy with a 7th position at the moment, almost at the halfway mark of the season?
Yeah, I would have. I mean, look, at our level with the 19s and 23s, I think, I don't really look at the ladder all too much. It's about, the performance on the pitch and trying to push these boys through and get them training at least with Cam at some point. That's our main goal. But I guess a sense of disappointment if you sort of break down each game, if we are talking about ladder position, because I think if the games only ran for 80 minutes each week, I think we might be second or third. Lapses of concentration really cost us in the last 10 minutes of games. We've either been leading or it's been a draw, and we've conceded late in games. So when I say that, that we've copped a lot of goals, 85 minutes plus. And if you sort of accumulate those points that we have dropped, I think we would have been second or third at the moment. So there's been a lot of good things, Tonchi, don't get me wrong. The boys are tuning and playing really well in patches. But if you had to ask me how many 90-minute games have you put together, there wouldn't be. But sometimes it's the way it is with the young boys pushing through as well. But the things that we just need to work on and get better at. But look, I'm happy. I'm pleased with the progress of individuals, which is the main thing in the under 23s, and I can certainly see some developing talent there, which is fantastic.
Yeah, and you mentioned the inconsistency, and I'm just having a look at the last three results, the last three games, or even if we go further back, it just seems to be so inconsistent. The last game was against Green Gully, a 3-3 draw. Then a 7-0 thumping away at the hands of Melbourne Victory, and then a 5-1 thumping of the Melbourne Knights at Melbourne Knights. That was almost 3-4 weeks ago. It's just, what is it with young? I mean, we hear it often. We do hear it often from coaches, from youth coaches. Consistency is a real big problem with younger players. But you mentioned, 85th minute and onwards, they just sort of seem to switch off. And what is it? What is it with young players? Is it they get easily distracted, or what would you kind of put your finger on it? What would you kind of put your reasoning behind it, I suppose?
Yeah, look, there's a couple of things, Tonchi. So, the maturity of the individuals, trying to blend in some cohesion in the group as well. What's great at our club is that we've got a multitude of players that are full-time training with the seniors, whether they're on contracts or not. Yep. We've got 2 other boys now training with the seniors that have pushed through in the first 10 rounds, and that's Jacob De Fiore and Anton Primorac. Who are now training with the seniors as well, which is fantastic for them and for us. To build cohesion, though, on the training track is difficult because of the fact that, you're missing half your squad at training. Yeah. But, if you had to ask me what would you choose, every day of the week, I'd choose for my boys to be training with Cam and Billy and Tommy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that's our goal at the end of the day. But sort of breaking it down a little bit, I don't think the ladder's reflective of the league itself. And when I say that, what I mean by that is if you take the last 3 results like we've just spoken about, so you take 5-1 against Knights. I was blessed because we played, the seniors played prior to the 23s. And halfway through that game, Cam sent a message through that, two further boys who were on the bench for the seniors would be playing 23. So that just bolstered my starting lineup. So, which eventually ended with a 5-1 win, a convincing win against Melbourne Knights. Now, if you take those players away, obviously there's a decrease in quality, if you want to call it that. Yeah. Maybe the result wouldn't have been what it was. You take the week after against Melbourne Victory, and Melbourne Victory, as we know, Melbourne City and Western United have got the cream of the crop of that age bracket. Yeah, yeah. You look at 7-0. If you don't know the context of the game, you sort of say, oh, geez, they got thumped 7-0. The context was that we copped a goal early in the 6th minute, but from the 6th minute till the 62nd minute was 1-0, and we were in the game. We hit the post twice. We missed a one-on-one. Then was forced into a couple of changes mid in that second half to 2 key positions. And that wasn't the reason why we copped another 6 goals, but it certainly played a part. And they just ran over the top of us. We conceded 5 goals in the last 15 minutes, I think it was. And we just stopped. Like, the players were gassed because Melbourne Victory will play at a pace in the 90th minute, like the first minute. They are just like, they're like mosquitoes on the pitch where no time on the ball, everything they do is crisp. And it was a good test for the boys to come up against a quality side like that. And the game was played at a pace that I haven't seen at this level. And I've been coached at this level now for 3 years that probably haven't seen. So it was a wake-up call to see how far off we are. And it was just a good test and a good experience for the boys. So, leaving that night, obviously I was disappointed, but the bigger picture is that there are some learnings there that we took out of it. So, and then last week again, 2-0 down against Green Gully, then 3-2 up at halftime, and then 3-3 by the end of the game, conceding again in the last 5 minutes. So they're just learnings that hopefully the boys take on board and learn from. We review the footage each week, and I send messages to individual players about where we can get better. We have conversations at training, and we'll just keep plugging away and working at it.
We're speaking with the head coach of the St Albans Dinamo men's under-23s team, Adam Tennenini. Tuna, this is a fascinating insight in dealing with young people and the inconsistencies, etc. But you've mentioned a lot about how it's a learning experience for them. What about for yourself? Like you said, you've been coaching at this level for quite a while, and when you see, I guess, Melbourne Victory, they're the yardstick. They're on top of the competition standings at the moment. When you see the way they play and you see the shortcomings in your own squad, does that sort of get you thinking now about, maybe it's too late for this season, but for next season, for example, how you're going to approach pre-season, or how you're going to maybe focus a little bit more emphasis on say, fitness, match fitness? Is that something that kind of starts to get you thinking, oh, there's maybe a way out there that we can try and emulate? Yes, we don't have the resources or the money or the infrastructure that maybe the clubs like Western United, Melbourne City and Victory have. But in our own little kind of micro environment, is there a way that we can kind of really take our own football to another level?
Yeah, look, I don't... Like Melbourne Victory, obviously, that particular team train together. They train 5 times a week. You can see how much cohesion they have in that team. But I don't. It would be an excuse for me to say, we lost 7-0 against Melbourne Victory, who do all that, because I still think that we've got enough talent at the club, and we want to get better to certainly be able to challenge them when they come to Churchill next time, right? So I see that as a bit of an excuse. Berkey, myself, Danny, and Frank, if you saw our WhatsApp group chat, it's literally message upon message at, all day, every day.
Yeah.
Even on weekend, even on match days, and it's all about us just trying to get better as a coaching group and what we can instill into these young boys. If you sort of accumulated the time that we spend thinking about it and executing what we do, it's really more than, it's sad to say it, but it really takes up more time than our full-time jobs. But we do it because we love it, right?
Yes.
And my drive personally, and the other 3 boys will say the same, the coaches, that our drive is, and what we get our kick out of is when we see our hard work come to fruition. So, the players sort of have to meet us halfway as well. It's not just us, speaking and then them doing. There's a lot of work that goes in between. So, yeah, we're forever trying to get better. Whether it's content online or watching games and watching opposition and watching other NPL games, senior games, there's always these little 1%ers that you can take out to make yourself better as a coach, and then hopefully that translates to the boys, and then it translates to their performance on the park, not only on match day but also training, because at this level it's as important as match day. Yeah,
fantastic. Just like I said, fascinating insight into a coach dealing with younger players. Now, I guess over the next 3 weeks, we're starting with this Friday, this weekend against Preston Lions. 3 games against teams placed below us on the ladder. There's Preston Lions. Then there's what other games? Well, Preston Lions are above us, but then we've got Dandenong Thunder and Hume coming up as well. Let's talk about Preston Lions, a battle for 6th position. Now, this game is going to be held on this Sunday. Obviously expecting a pretty tough game, are you, at Genesis Steel Stadium?
Yeah, definitely. Preston, if we look at their seniors, are going quite well, and hopefully we can get the points there on Friday night, which would be great on Anzac Day. But we're playing on Sunday, so I expect some squaddies from the Preston senior team to drop down into that 23s, which will make it difficult for us. But we'll go in with a pretty strong squad ourselves. So, I'm expecting us to have a good showing there, and hopefully it translates to 3 points. Same for the 19s. They're going quite well. I've watched, all their games, either being present at the game or watching the footage back. They're playing some great football. Burke and Dan are doing a really good job with that team. The game against Green Gully last Monday night was one of the best games I've seen this season in terms of, from an aesthetic point of view. Not watching it as a neutral, of course, because I wanted, obviously, us to win, but just not watching it as a coach and just watching it from the fence. It was a really, really high-quality game to watch, and there's some really exciting prospects coming through that team as well, which is great for the club. Great for me because I can certainly handpick, boys that I think are doing well and deserve an opportunity. The beauty of that also is that we train together. So I get to see these boys up close, 2-3 times a week on the training track. And obviously working closely with Danny and Berkey as the coaches. And going back to what I just said earlier, we're conversing, hourly. I was going to say daily, it's probably hourly. I'll shut off this interview, and I'm sure there'll be a message that's come through that chat in the time I've been online here. So, it's just an exciting time to be around the club. It always is, Tonchi. With the gala coming up as well and all that sort of stuff, and the memorabilia stuff. It's just been brilliant to see. So, Dinamo is always a fun place to be, and we work hard, but we also have a lot of fun along the way.
Yeah, well, in the news desk, we just saw how many functions are coming up and other activities as well over the next 2-3 months as well. It's just absolutely incredible. Now, should we defeat, and we will defeat Preston on Sunday, we jump into 6th position. And then, as I mentioned, we've got games against Dandenong Thunder and Hume City, who are 4th last and 3rd last, respectively. If we end up the season in 6th position, is there a top 6 playoff like there is in the first?
Oh, you're on again, off again. The conversation about finals in the 23s and 19s. It's interesting, Tonchi, because I was in email dialogue with the federation it was probably 2 weeks ago now, where obviously I speak to probably 90% of the coaches in my league. Whether we've got previous relationships or we just met each other. Like Marian at Knights, for instance, I've known since he was a kid because he went to school with my brother, and they're in the same group of friends. But the others I've met along the way, and we're all, we either we're talking every week or just flicking a message, whether it's a well done on a win or whatever it is, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So I got asking about finals. I said, would you guys be interested in finals if FV came to the party? And they're like, yeah, for sure. Like, it gives the boys a carrot to sort of work towards the end of the year. So I spoke to Ilya about it. Ilya gave me my blessing to push ahead with it from a Dinamo perspective. And I said to the federation, I said, look, I've got, so far I've got 9 of the 14 coaches in the league that are saying yes, and they've got the backing from their clubs. Can we make this happen? Like Junior NPL got finals this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously, the seniors have, because they always have had. State league finals. There's all these finals going on. For some reason, the sub leagues in the NPL. So when I say that, what I mean is like, your under 23, under 19th men, your VPL, VPL2, same. Your under 20, under 19, or whatever it is, under 19, WNPL and WVPL. There's no finals. So the response I got back was, we usually speak to clubs about it during those information sessions at the start of the year. There was no appetite at the start of this year, but, we'll revisit it and we may have it for 2026. And I've gone back and said, well, it has got the support. So the last email I received was around, it's always associated back to costs. So costs of venues, costs of awards, costs of referees. My response to that is just offset it, and the clubs collectively will pay it. It won't actually cost much to have a venue. Like, just Home and Matildas is the obvious choice because it's where the federation are based. Now, I don't know what the costings are behind it. It may be substantial. I don't know, but if all the clubs are in for it, then I don't see why it can't happen. It sounds like it's a cost and an administrative thing, but I mean, we'll just keep chipping away, hoping that they make a decision. The interesting part to that, Tonchi, is the Federation sent out an email before the last round of last season asking which clubs would be interested in finals. Now, Green Gully had already won the league by then. If I'm the coach of Green Gully and they said, do you want finals? I'm going to say no, because I've already won the league.
Of course. Of course. Yeah.
So it was a sort of a mute point, because you can't have a final series without the top team. It just wouldn't make sense. So that's why we sort of got on the front foot and gone early this year with it and asked the question. But it's fallen off deaf ears for now, whether they revisit it this year or not. But, when you start to break it down, like the 23s league isn't about results. It's about producing players. I get it. And I certainly agree with that. But it would be nice. It would be a nice experience for the boys to,
and especially if it's bigger crowds, and you could imagine that there would be bigger crowds, and there'd be a lot more of that. I mean, it is the Australian way, whether we like it or not, for having a finals at the end of the season, and it definitely would attract, I'm sure, a lot of interest.
Punch. Well, why do we play? Why do we coach? Why are we involved in clubs? It's because we love it, right? And we have fun doing it. So why not make it more fun?
Exactly.
Right?
I agree. I totally agree. Yep. Oh, well, anyway, let's talk about something that might happen or might not happen, but something that is definitely going to happen, and something that you're involved in on a little side thing is Christian Vieri is coming down under.
Yes.
And after Francesco Totti and Fabian Cannavaro, you have been asked to MC this little meet and greet. Tell us a bit more about that.
You can call me the Italian Smolich. You love mentioning that. Just got involved with. There's a consortium called Forever Football Management that brought out first Francesco Totti, which, as you know, is my idol, footballing idol, and our World Cup winning captain Fabio Cannavaro early this year for various events. And I got the opportunity to host both of those events. And Vieri will be in Melbourne on the 7th of May for an event at the Park Hyatt. And I've been asked again to host that. So I'm busy drafting some questions for the Q&A. He's an interesting story because, as we know, there's that Australian connection. Played for so many big clubs. Played in World Cups, Euros, missed out on the 2006 World Cup due to injury, which is unfortunate. So I'm interested to ask him about that. On his day, he was probably one of the most prolific strikers of his generation, to be honest. When you take into account, Golden Boot of France 98, scored most of Italy's goals at World Cup 2002, Euro 2004. It'll be an interesting chat. This one will be fully in English because I've been asked to do so because there'll be a lot of non-Italian speakers there. But he speaks fluent English with an Australian twang, as you might imagine.
Yeah.
Heroes growing up with Alan Border, and his favourite shows were Neighbours and Sail the Century. So there's a lot to cover with Christian Vieri, that probably a lot more than Cannavaro and Totti, to be honest, because of that Australian connection to him. So really looking forward to that, and it's on a non-training night, which is an even bigger bonus.
Oh, fantastic. Well, speaking of connections, I mean, when you did interview Fabian Cannavaro, at the time he wasn't the Dinamo Zagreb coach, but he was later, and since then he's become a former coach of Dinamo Zagreb, having been sacked, and Dinamo, I think, have had 4 coaches this year, and the season's not over yet. Does that mean that Christian Vieri now could possibly be Dinamo Zagreb's coach next season if we're going to follow any past trend?
He's never actually coached. He hosts his own. During COVID, he created this show called Bobo TV, which became really famous across Italy, and then he's continued that ever since. It's got a different name and format now, but it's quite a popular show that's streamed on Twitch and YouTube. So. I guess he just does that to pass the time. I mean, he obviously doesn't work anymore and needs something to fill his day. I know that he attends the same restaurant in Milan for lunch every single day.
Oh, wow.
Which has become famous because of him. But, he's never coached. I don't think he ever will, but he's just happy doing his, little side hustle, if you want to call it. Not that he needs the money, but, little TV show each day, just analysing Italian football.
There you go. Awesome, mate. Absolute pleasure chatting to you. We've spoken about so many things and so many topics. Tuna, all the best for this Sunday. That game at 3 p.m. at, there we go, it's Genesis Steel Stadium. The curtain raiser to that will be the under-19s at 1 p.m. So if you're not at the club rooms at Churchill Reserve, do get yourself down to Genesis Steel Stadium. Free entry. And wishing you all the best for that game and for the rest of the season, of course.
We'll chat soon, no doubt, Tonchi. Thanks for your time and thanks for the show. Keep it going.
Good on you. Definitely will catch up before the end of the season. That's Adam Tennenini Tuna, the coach of the senior men's under-23s team. Folks, don't go away. When we come back, we'll continue with tonight's DinamoTV. And that, folks, brings us to the end of yet another episode of DinamoTV. Thank you so much for being a part of tonight's show. We hope you enjoyed it. We look forward to having your company again next Wednesday night at 8 p.m. And remember, if so much going on at the club this weekend, do get down and make sure to enjoy yourself and take in any one of the many, many, many things going on at the club. On behalf of everyone here at DinamoTV and the St Albans Dinamo Football Club, good night. Bye-bye.